Welcome to NFL Daily, where we're excited about the return of Round Ball Rock tonight. I'm Gregg Rosenthal in the Chris Wesseling podcast studio, and perhaps Colleen Wolfe doesn't even get that reference. A lot of our listeners won't.
I don't.
It's the John Tesh theme song to the NBA on NBC, which I
guess
is technically a competitor, but I feel like if you love sports, you are allowed to love other sports.
You are. But you always have a first love. So first love
is
NFL,
is here.
Obviously football.
It's talking with you.
You. What time do we start getting into our existential crises?
That is part of the vibe check later in the show.
Okay, cool.
We're doing a vibe check. We just thought it'd be good to look at some of the teams around the NFL and wonder, just where they are. Look big picture, what the vibes are right now. Our great producer, Eric, suggested this segment, but it does go along with something I've been noticing, and I sent out, as a tweet, just that I listen to a lot of team-centered podcasts, and no one's happy.
Really?
Everyone's complaining. And then, of course, I get the responses like, hey, you haven't listened to many Chiefs or Patriots. There are like a couple exceptions, and we might talk about some of those today. But in general, I would say 27 of the fan bases out there are just unhappy at all times.
Well, because every single team has flaws. There's not just there's no team right now that's just oh, cool, everything's all good. Let's on to the next week. So of course you're going to be angry and annoyed and have complaints.
I mean, not the New York Jets. They're absolutely perfect.
Wow.
We will start with the news. So we'll zoom through this quickly. We'll do the vibe check, and then we'll talk a little TNF. Vikings and Chargers across the street at SoFi, an interesting one. Those are two fan bases I'm kind of thinking of.
Yeah.
Of just they're in the middle, but they're not happy. But Jets fans are next level, and it sounds like their owner is just as unhappy with their quarterback play as some of the fans. Let's listen to Woody Johnson speaking about Justin Fields on Tuesday.
It's hard when you have a quarterback with, with a rating that we got. He has the ability, but something just is not jiving. But if you look at any head coach with a quarterback like that, you're going to see similar results if you go across the league. You have to play consistently with, at that position, and that's what we're going to try to do for the remainder of the season.
So what gives you hope then?
I just think defense, special teams are doing better. The defense is pretty good. And if we can just complete a pass, it would look good.
No. Oh, no.
That's courtesy of Tom Rock from Newsday.
Okay.
Great reporter who I once went to New York games with back in the day. Wow. I know you're a longtime supporter of the Jets and how everything is run there. What were your thoughts?
You betcha. That ownership and leadership is not happy with the current situation. Obviously, they have not won a game yet. And sounds like Tyrod Taylor is going to start next week.
Yes. Woody Johnson, that was at a league meeting, by the way, in New York. He said he has no influence on the quarterback decision, but I have a feeling by the time people listen to this, certainly if they wait till Wednesday to listen, that, Tyrod is going to be named the starter.
It's not like that's a long-term solution here either, or it might not even be a long-term thing. It could just be maybe this is what gives them a little bit of a spark. Maybe this will help them just win a game, because Tyrod Taylor, he's usually a pretty conservative, safe option, but then he did have the turnovers last week, so I don't know.
It's just brutal because Justin Fields is going to see all these headlines. It's the number 2 headline on ESPN. Jets owner rips, quarterback. I mean, if we could complete a pass, it would look good is a rough thing to hear. And the other person I thought affected by this, because I think it's safe to say it'd be a surprise at this point if Justin Fields is back with this team next year. I thought about GM Darren Muji, who gave Justin Fields $30 million guaranteed on a 2-year, $40 million contract. This was their first big decision. Obviously, it's not working out. Maybe Justin Fields gets back in the mix at some point. Tyrod hasn't been able to stay healthy. Let's talk more fun news. Let's talk about your
I like
Eagles.
fun.
The vibes are better in Philadelphia because Brandon Graham has unretired I'm glad we haven't really hit this on the show
Yeah.
yet because we've got you to just celebrate.
Okay, so the win for the Eagles over the Carson Wentz-led Vikings. Chef's kiss. That was great. And now you have Brandon Graham returning to his rightful spot. I know that he's an older guy now. He's 37. And he did have pretty much a perfect storybook ending to his career, aside from the injury. You win a Super Bowl, you get a Super Bowl ring, and then you retire.
And you go on NFL Daily, actually, with Jordan and I right after the Super Bowl. It doesn't get better.
That's the storybook ending part,
Right.
yeah. So I think that he never really wanted to fully retire. And I know after they made the move for Zadarius Smith, then things kind of changed for both the Eagles and him. So when Zadarius Smith ended up surprisingly retiring out of nowhere, it also opened the door then for Brandon Graham to come back. And now he breaks his own record as the longest tenured Eagle.
Wow.
Yeah. So 16 seasons. And like he's such a, talk about vibes. He's such a great vibes guy. He's perfect for that locker room, especially if there's any type of friction, and maybe that's done now. Maybe everyone has turned a page and everything is absolutely fine. But if not, he's a wonderful presence to have in there, just as someone who's been around the organization for so long and seen all of the twists and turns.
I mean, he was the man who knocked the ball out of Tom Brady's hand.
Sure was.
To cause Colleen Wolfe to start crying on the field at the Super Bowl.
I did.
That was an amazing
Tears of joy
moment around the NFL. I consider it our history, even though, it's more just we stuck a microphone in your face while you were
That's all right. That's what you do with family.
Brandon Graham has a podcast. I was wondering, is that podcast going to continue? It's on all PHLY. It's called the Unblocked Podcast. If I had done better prep, I would have texted its host, our friend Bo Wolfe, before 1 minute ago while you were speaking, but we'll see if he returns. Whether the podcast.
Why don't we give him a call live on the show?
Continues. I think his show is on literally live right now, so we'll see. It just shows though how thin they are, and he spoke about the decision, and you mentioned it was Zadarius Smith. I think they wanted Brandon Graham to unretire back then, but just he felt like that the timing wasn't right, like something was going on. Maybe it was because he was launching the podcast, and he didn't really return this year because frankly they just weren't willing to pay him. Like he was at a point in his life where it's like, yeah, I'll keep playing for like I've made a lot of money in my career, a certain level, but I'm not going to come back for like $3 or $4 million, whatever it was. So I wonder if the money got better now. They only have to pay half the season, and the desperation.
The injuries, yeah.
Right, because they lost Azeez Ojulari to an injury during that game. Josh Uche is out there. Eventually they get Nolan Smith back. Jalix Hunt has been a little bit of a disappointment, but the ultimate Eagle is back with the team. I like that. Some quick injury news before we get to our segment.
Okay.
Bryce Young has a high ankle sprain, which means we have the return of the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, for the 4-3 Panthers rivalry game with the Bills. And you ask, why is it a rivalry? Because Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane, the Bills, big brain trust, they came from Carolina. So there's a lot of familiarity there. And who knows? Maybe Andy Dalton could pull off an upset.
Yeah, that would be great. I would assume that they would lean heavily on their running backs in this game. So it could be a big Chuba Hubbard, Rico Dowdle situation. But this Bills defense, they've shown some vulnerability against the pass this season, and they're coming off a bye as well. So they'll be extra rested, prepared, and ready for Andy Dalton.
Motivated. I do really believe good coaches show their work and show their worth, too, coming out of a bye week. Like, they fix things. And Sean McDermott is a good coach. So I think a lot of their problems maybe we saw before the bye, maybe he's got some solutions. So I'll be curious.
I wonder what adjustments they would make.
It could be personnel, like the way they're deploying some of the people in the secondary. I don't really know, but this is a tough running game to stop. Chuba Hubbard is kind of the backup now to Rico Dowdle, but they're both really good, and they're a tough running team to stop. It's a good offensive line. Like, they're a big, tough team, and kind of the Bills really aren't right now. How are you feeling, by the way?
I feel good, just in general.
You're usually in the host chair. You did the coverage from 4 a.m. doing the London game on Sunday, and then you were hosting the Rich Eisen show, which you had me on, playing the the role of
Yeah.
Rich Eisen. That's what you were doing. And now, like, you just get to come in and just answer questions. Isn't that easier?
Listen, wherever I need to go, I'm a good utility player. You need me to host, no problem. You want me to be an analyst? I'll try to put on that hat. You want me to just be the vibes queen? That's the natural spot.
You are the vibes queen, and I think you're doing a great job. By the way,
Thank you.
Jordan,
Thanks for coming on, too, by the way.
It was a lot of fun. Jordan Rodrigue, for everyone that is concerned, little under the weather. So we hope to have her back
Yes, feel better, Jordan.
for Wednesday's show. Another couple items of news. Dre Greenlaw played one game for the Broncos, and he's already been suspended. There's always a lot of extra with Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah.
For threatening, according to the NFL, an official after the game. Both him and...
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, Justin Strenard were angry with the official after the game, but Strenard didn't get a suspension. I don't know if it was previous or it was something, particular that Dre Greenlaw said. They were still mad, I think, about the calls that went against the Broncos on that go-ahead drive by the Giants. So he's out. He was back in for one game. And that reminded me, I didn't mention on the Monday Night Recap, we spent 45 minutes on those two games late into the night, and yet I still didn't mention. There was a moment in that game where Azeez Al-Shaair, the Texans, basically just like threw your boy, Sam Darnold,
yes,
not Bradford, to the ground. I wonder if he'll get suspended for that.
Gregg continues. Now he's planted this awful seed in my brain.
Okay.
By calling Sam Darnold Sam Bradford. And then I did it yesterday right after he did it on the Rich Eisen show. And I was even thinking about it last night and almost texted you while I was watching everything. So Sam Bradford, hope he's doing well.
It keeps happening. And part of it might be some early onset dementia for me.
Okay.
Like if we want to get, into the
I think everyone
death of it all, discussion.
I've talked to many people here that are in that same boat.
Okay.
I am also in that boat.
But we're awfully young for it, but that could be part of it. The other part is though, they kind of fit a similar type of man and quarterback. Can't you just like imagine Sam Bradford or Darnold just like mowing their lawn on a Sunday, but
like working at a hardware store,
like a button-down shirt, and they just sort of like look the same. You could really count on their haircuts. Like they're just those guys.
They could be a geometry teacher, maybe,
or a #1 overall draft pick.
Yeah.
The Saints have lost a couple players. Eric McCoy, their center, who's their captain, one of their best offensive linemen, if not their best for the season. Tough news there. And Kendre Miller, who is giving them a nice little explosive backup to Alvin Kamara. And then Titans have released Tyler Lockett, who had such a great career with Seattle, but it just was not working out. He was not effective for the Titans. He asked to be released. He would be free to sign with other teams. We'll see if anyone picks him up. He did not look great on the field. If not, happy trails to Tyler Lockett, who had a very underrated career for like a solid 5 straight years. Everyone all called him the most underrated wide receiver in the league.
When I think of Tyler Lockett, I just think of him in the corner of an end zone catching a ridiculous pass from Russell Wilson and staying in bounds. I felt like he was the original ballerina.
I think of him, Russell Wilson, and DK Metcalf in a picture, I think at DK Metcalf's wedding, where DK Metcalf is wearing the most insane tuxedo with shorts on that I believe he got married in, and just 3 of them looked very happy. So I always loved me some Tyler Lockett. Let's talk vibes.
Okay.
The vibes are always good with Colleen.
Thank you.
Except for the very occasional time where they're not. But they're almost they're almost always.
When is that? Gregg?
Actually, that's not true at all. I'm not around for that. I don't see that, Colleen.
No one sees it.
I see like a chill Colleen, a fun Colleen, a funny Colleen, or every once in a while, maybe like on a New Year's Eve, like a wild Colleen.
Oh.
That Colleen doesn't come out
yeah, no, She's like, I have to like keep her locked away for a little bit. There's also the occasional anxious Colleen, but we don't love her.
It's more than occasional. Let's talk vibe check. We're going to go around the NFL. We're going to choose whoever we want. And the only thing I told you is like, we shouldn't do all bad vibes.
That was the note when.
Well, because that's what I thought about at first. Because I was thinking like, oh man, the Giants vibes are so bad. I figured you were going to hit that. Like, oh man, I listened to some Dolphins like me. Man, it's so bad there. It's like, I don't want it to be all bad. So we'll do a mix.
Right.
And I'll have you start.
Okay. I'm starting with the Bengals.
Ooh.
And the vibes with the Bengals, it's like a temporary pain relief. So Joe Flacco is essentially a bottle of Advil for the fans. The vibes went from like spiraling into a sea of nothingness, darkness, desperation, apathy almost. And then now, here's a little bit of a spark. Maybe there is. What is that? Do I see a little light at the end of the tunnel here? Could there be the possibility of hope for Cincinnati? It was a great game against the Steelers for Joe Flacco. That's against a division rival in a division that is a mess right now. And yeah, they have a record that, is not great, but they're only a game behind the leader in the division. And I just think that after everything that's happened, you wonder if Joe Flacco could keep them just decently afloat enough to where maybe we do see Joe Burrow again this year.
They have a chance,
right?
Like that's all you want, and
just hope.
And it does feel different when you get that hope after the point where you might have already lost it. And I think some Bengals fans, I personally had lost it. I'm not a Bengals fan, but I thought they were the worst team in the NFL for 4 months. I'm like, Joe Flacco cannot solve this. And yet, even if they don't beat the Jets this week, and they're playing the Jets, and if they beat the Jets, they're 4-4. But even if for some reason it did go sour from here, they did have a moment. Like, we're here in the Chris Wesseling podcast studio. Phil Wesseling, Chris' brother, was at that game. Steph Wesseling, Nick's wife, was at that game. Nick was at home. What was he doing? I don't know.
And they're in the white unis.
And like, that was kind of a magical, just one moment in time type of game. And a lot of the people around the team actually did think they found something in the second half of that game. And now it's just a race. Can we get to, let's say, 6 wins? I'm going to circle week 15 as a potential Joe Burrow return. That's roughly the timeline.
Okay.
And so at that point, they would have played 13 games. Can they get to 6 and 7 by then? They're at 3 and 4 right now. Can they just go 3 and 3?
Yeah.
Because if they can get to 6 and 7, to me, they have hope. So who
are their opponents?
They have the Jets and the Bears next at home.
Okay.
A game where you're favored and a game where it's kind of a toss-up if Joe Flacco is real. Then you're at Pittsburgh, home for the Patriots, at Ravens, at Bills. It's definitely not easy, but you just have to find a way to win like 2 or 3 of those games. Maybe Joe Burrow comes back early. He was smiling. Joe Burrow was smiling.
Oh my gosh, we got a smile out of Burrow. See, this just it provides a little sliver of hope for a fan base that was dealt back-to-back years a tough card. And for guys like Jamar Chase, really talented players on this team, that must have been so difficult, that stretch that they went through, because even just from a selfish point of view, and I don't even like to bring this up in a sport where it's all about the team, but you're not hitting any of your incentives at all. Like, of course you're not going to go anywhere or win games, but like also you're not going to get all of those escalators either. So
you're getting nasty DMs from fantasy football owners. Who needs that?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But the defense, they still are the Bengals defense. It'd be really nice to get some stops on 3rd down. It would be really nice to stop some of those explosive plays, but they did get lucky with these turnovers, and they were at key moments, and that was how the game ended up getting won ultimately.
They put up 470 yards of offense. It's
wow.
It's been a while now, so it's like 27 first downs. Like, that is a Joe Burrow type of line. Yes, they have hope. They're interesting. I want as many interesting teams as possible.
Yes.
I'm going to go with the 49ers as my first vibe check. And I decided to keep a word in mind with all these vibe checks. By the way, I do have breaking news. Not only is the Brandon Graham podcast continuing, called Unblocked.
Yeah.
It's a good title.
I like that. He did good.
There's like triple meanings there if you really want to get into it, Oh,
yeah.
Good. Not only is it going to keep going, but Bo says it's a good way for them to raise their ad rates. Actually, now it's going to get more attention.
That's great.
So that's good.
Good. Money in the bank.
Capitalism. Okay. The word that I would use for the 49ers right now, and I feel like they've been a little under the radar, is present.
Uh-huh.
They're like living in the moment right now, and I kind of love it. Like they've been put through a lot as an organization, not just the last few months, but the last 5 years. Like a couple tough L's in the Super Bowl, a really tough season last year, and they've had every excuse for this season to fall apart.
You're
And
right.
they're out there, and Christian McCaffrey's not quite what he once was. He's battling and he's playing well. Trent Williams is not quite what he once was, but he is battling and he's playing well. Kittle is out there again now, helping in the run blocking, like selfless. Mac Jones, like
Mac Jones.
he's living the life he always wanted to live
I know.
with Kyle Shanahan. And the defense is without their two big stars, and they're not coming back. And they have all these no-name
Yep.
young players who are just out there with Robert Saleh flexing his muscles again and getting fired up. Like, to me, they're not worried about like what their ceiling is now or what's happening. They're just out there, I think, right now in the present, not worrying about expectations. I kind of love it for them.
Those are the scariest types of teams. The house money teams
Mm.
are always the ones that end up being either the chaos makers or the ones that kind of shine through and get through to the other side. I'd say they're really resilient too.
Yes.
Like this
That'd be
is
another word.
Did I hear it on your pod, on this pod, that this was Christian McCaffrey's first game with 200 scrimmage yards since he was with the Panthers?
No, that means you're listening to another podcast.
No. I
'Cause
must have heard it
that's
on, it could have
part of
been
the
a
contract.
television show. It could have been Sirius Radio. It could have been honestly anything. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe
Yeah.
it's not even true. But it
Because I
has
know
been-
you've seen that contract recently. Like,
Yeah.
it's in there. It must not.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like it's basically like damn it, I forgot the word. What is it called when you have to sign
An
a
addendum? I don't know.
No, like you can't turn around and talk about what has happened. I'm like
A
non-disclosure.
non-disclosure agreement. Yeah.
An NDA. That's it. DNA was the only thing that was in my head. Everything's fine. But you think about,
Some of those late Connie nights where she does let loose, steady in right
I-
here.
I haven't had a lot of sleep the past couple of days. And I wonder why I can't remember anything. We both have dementia. It's fine. I'd say it's a lot of positivity around the 49ers.
I'm sorry for sidetracking you there because you were absolutely rolling. Bittersweet could be like a word that popped in my head at first because
Mhm.
I think if you're a fan of the team, it's interesting that this team I think is going to end up being more fun than the last few, but there will maybe be a nagging thought that, man, if we had Bosa and Warner, like
Right.
we'd be Super Bowl contenders, and crazier things have happened. But I think sometimes it's good to lower your expectations. And I think going into this season, the expectations were lower, felt like a little bit of a rebuild, and now it's even lower. So this is fun. I was at
Tatum Bethune, by the way, he played well in
really
Fred
good,
Warner's
really
spot.
well.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing like with their linebackers, but it's an excellent system, I guess, for linebackers. But like D. Winters is playing well. Drake
Yeah.
Greenlaw obviously was there and used to be great, like linebacker university. So I was at a concert.
When?
Saturday night.
Okay.
Rilo Kiley, Waxahachie opening. Probably not bands, like a lot of people are familiar with. But there was some lyrics. I'm gonna read them from
Oh,
a
wow.
Rilo Kiley
Okay.
song. I'm not gonna sing it, but I thought it was germane to what the 49ers are right now.
Uh-huh.
And the lyrics are, sometimes when you're on, like you're really on,
Yeah.
and your friends, they sing along and they love you. And that's like the 49ers when everything like is just, going crazy for Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers. But the lows are so extreme that the good seems cheap, and it teases you for weeks in its absence.
Whoa.
But you'll fight, you'll make it through, and you'll fake it if you have to. And you'll show up for work with a smile. And you'll be better, and you'll be smarter, and more grown up. And it goes on from there. And to me,
I
that's
like this song.
it is an amazing song. Shout out to A Better Son, Daughter by Rilo Kiley. But like to me, that was a little bit of the 49ers. Like I think the absence of like The lows are so low for this team
Yeah.
that you're like, is it? Sometimes I watch Kyle Shanahan. It's almost like he thinks like, is it even worth it chasing this? You know what I mean?
No,
You know-
he's given up a bit.
But he's in that place. Like it teases you for weeks. Right now, I think they're on. You know what I mean? I think this coaching staff and everything about them is that they're on. And when they're on, like they're really on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, that's a lot of F-bombs.
I know.
For Tuesday.
I was
So.
gonna warn the producers, but
They've been
right
warned.
right there in the lyrics. They know. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more vibe checks after this. Back on NFL Daily, where Colleen was struggling to remember the difference between NDA and DNA.
Not the difference between. It's just my
It happens.
dyslexic brain was only giving me DNA when I was searching for NDA. Happens.
DNA, a classic, Kendrick song.
Right?
NDA, an underrated Billie Eilish song. You didn't.
Wow. Look at you.
Also love the Kendrick Drake World Series that's going on.
This is
Team Kendrick for
oh wow, you're
the
right.
Dodgers. Yeah. Exciting.
You're really plugged in to
Hey.
the music world, Delaware's own. Here.
Yeah. How are you doing, fellow kids? Let's go with another vibe check for you.
Okay. For me, this is actually for you, Greg.
Mm.
It's for the Patriots. And I would call the vibes there bro-optimistic, which is bro-optimistic. And I just feel that Mike Rabel brings this bro energy in the best way possible. And his leadership and his presence has completely changed everything, the mood around this organization. And then Drake May, what he's been able to do, his growth, and the fact that the team is on a 4-game winning streak, they're at the top of the division, that it feels like this turnaround has happened sooner than at least I expected it. And players like Ramondre Stevenson are looking better because the blocking is better. And Stephon Diggs, another good performance from him. And Kayshon Boutte. Okay, Boutte, we see you. So I feel good that I will have a happy Rosenthal in my life.
The vibes around this team are incredible right now. Let's actually listen to some of them. This is Mike Vrabel and Drake May in the locker room after beating Vrabel's old the Titans.
Get a breakdown.
One sec. Hey, for Coach and all Tennessee coaches, Coach Vrabel, we love playing for you.
Appreciate it.
Glad you're our head coach, and we love you, Coach.
Thank you.
Break it down.
I got it. Bring it up now. Hey, team on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, I do love that. It's so weird for me to be talking positive about the Patriots, but this is a different Patriots team. And Mike Rabel, anytime you have a team that is so genuinely excited, and you know how much I love anything that's petty, and for Rabel to go and to beat the team that he was fired from right after they fired his replacement and do it the way they did, yes, sign me up. I'm all in on that.
The biggest takeaway for me whenever I see moments like that with Drake May is he looks like he's 14 years old.
Well, he does.
And he really is young. He's 23 years old. Like he just turned 23. He's a couple years younger than Bo Nix and Michael Penix, and hell, he's younger than Cam Ward, who he just beat. He's all that matters. I've been saying that on this show for a while. Like the only thing that matters about this team is Drake May, and the fact that he is this level is next level. That he is showing he's got a chance to be like a top 5 quarterback long term. Now, I do want to point out, and I've been trying to tell this to my Patriots
Schedule.
friends, it really does matter, like a ton.
Mhm.
Like if they had played, let's say the Seahawks, like the AFC South has been stuck playing the NFC West, like all in a row, like the Jaguars and everything. They had played the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. Like they'd have a couple L's. And Drake May would probably have a game where he didn't look so great. He certainly wouldn't be like setting all these records. That's just how it is. Aaron Schatz runs, the FTN sites used to be Football Outsiders. Their numbers say that the New England Patriots have the easiest schedule that they've ever recorded, going back to 1979. Not just the schedule that they've played so far, which has been cake, but taking the teams and how they've done so far this year, moving forward, it is the single easiest schedule any team has had in 40-something years.
Thank God they finally caught a break, the Patriots. I'm so happy.
So I think that's part of it. It's part of it, but what can you do? And
it is wild when you look at the wins. They beat, they actually, when they lost to the Raiders, which that should have been a win, but the Dolphins, the Panthers.
They did beat the Bills, but Saints,
Bills.
Titans, Browns are coming up. And, they just don't have a lot of tough spots on their schedule, but it does get a little harder. Playing the Jets and Dolphins 4 times is a gift to both the Bills and the Patriots. But, yeah, that clip was amazing. I suggest people watch it because there's a moment when Stephon Diggs kind of shakes Vrabel from behind where for 1 second it looks like Vrabel wants to turn around and swing. And everyone clocked this too that watched it. And then he's fine, but whoever Diggs hit him too hard and he just had that masculine energy that was and then he was like, oh.
I mean, imagine the adrenaline, the fight or flight that is happening, and it's all fight for all of those players in there. I would imagine stuff like that happens quite a bit.
Okay, the vibes have been too good in this segment. Let's take it.
Let's bring it down a notch.
Let's bring it down.
Okay.
Let's talk about the commies.
Okay.
The Washington Commanders. Their vibe right now is very betrayed boyfriend. They seem so shocked that this is happening to them. I heard Dan Quinn after the game, and they asked if he was surprised about how things are going. He was just yes, very. And the week before was a very similar vibe, and I was thinking about the Bears Washington matchup from a year ago and how that was just a moment in time where the two organizations went their separate ways.
Yeah.
And now I do wonder if for this season it's going to be similar because the Bears, who probably feel like they stole that game a little bit, everything's great there, and Washington seems a little bit of a mess. He said he was, Dan Quinn, who's usually so happy, was he said he was hot at the end of that first half when they gave up that really quick drive to the Cowboys last week. Some of the defenders were saying that they were pissed and that they were embarrassed. I remember Jaden Daniels, it was a big thing this week, told Dan Quinn about his interception against the Bears and the mistakes. He told Dan Quinn, he called him and he said, that will never happen again. And I'm thinking
what?
Well, it will happen
Yeah,
again.
of course it will.
Sorry, but it's almost like last year was such a magical ride for them, and they really believed coming into this season, despite some signs from the outside that it might be tough to stay at that level. They didn't believe that, and so they just feel a little thrown back right now, and the vibes are not good. It's like they've been betrayed by their own expectations.
So in my head, I'm thinking about how it feels sort of like a person who came from nothing, no money, and then they win the lottery, and then they find out that their identity has been stolen, and now they're bankrupt. This was a team that suffered through so many years of dysfunction and just no hope whatsoever. And then they hit on the quarterback. Everything's going right. They end up in the NFC Championship game, one game away from the Super Bowl with this new ownership and leadership. And you would have to imagine, as a Commanders fan, you're thinking, oh my God, finally, we're just out of whatever that was. And now it feels like just everything is falling apart again. Now, not to that level, but I would imagine if you lived in that space for so long that you would feel like that's exactly where you're back to.
This is good. This is why Colleen gets the big bucks. She's using her astute psychological.
Yes, it's all psychological.
Investment and just interpretation here that you're right. I think it is the past trauma because that's kind of been my reaction from the outside is calm down, guys. You've had a million injuries, and that sucks. But you've had a million injuries.
Terry McLaurin's not out there. Deebo Samuel's not out there. Jaden Daniels is hurt.
And you're 3-4, and one of those losses was extremely fluky to the Bears. it's like you probably should be 4-3. Like these are the things that happen, but it's the generational trauma,
It is.
not just from Dan Snyder, but from Robert Griffin III. Did you see that Jaden Daniels' mom
Oh no.
asked everyone to kind of keep RG3's name out of their mouth?
Oh no, that's just going to lead to more RG3s.
Well, that's what she was saying. She said, "I wish you would stop manifesting RG3 on my son. Words are powerful, and that's all that's talked about." Now, I'm not locked into Commander's Twitter, so I didn't know that. I didn't know anyone was talking about that. That's stupid to talk about.
Well,
But then she
yeah.
puts it out there now, and
because they went to the title game.
right,
with him
there
in,
are
like,
similarities,
04.
but I think Jaden Daniels is made of different stuff as in terms of his NFL skill set,
Yes.
that it's more stable and long term. I'm not talking about the person. I'm just talking about, and he's had a couple injuries this year. I don't necessarily think that means he's going to have a lot of injuries long term.
No, I think the fans should be able to, like, they should be able to do whatever they want, obviously, but it just feels like it's not as bad as it is seeming with all of the injuries and the results. Like this is still a good team, and they proved that last year. I don't think that it was a fluke. I think that they have a lot of good foundational pieces.
I do too, and it's an older team. On defense, they haven't been tackling well. There's been a lot of injuries. They haven't been getting takeaways, and yeah, they have a tough game this week at Kansas City, so they're going to be in the spotlight, and Jaden Daniels might not be playing. We didn't mention as part of the news, he is uncertain for Week 8 after that hamstring injury, and they did lose who's probably been their best passer, Dorrance Armstrong, for this season. So that was bad news for the Commanders. But just calm down, like. This is not the old Commanders, and even if they go 8-9 or 9-8, it's like that's a totally normal thing to happen after your first big season. I'm already thinking, I'm a terrible fan. I'm already thinking as a Patriots fan, I'm not living in the moment of like, well, next year there will be like a major schedule correction, and it'll be much harder to rack up however many wins they wind up racking up. That's just how the NFL works. All right,
You're a realist.
Give me one more.
Okay. Oh, we're gonna go down south to Miami.
Ooh.
The vibes with the Dolphins. I'm not even sure where to start. It's almost like they are too numb, but to care, but also still mad about what's happening. Or it's like apoplectic, just completely furious. And the rage is just boiling because nothing seems to be functioning correctly in Miami. And there's got to be disappointment, obviously, with the way that this like anger has kind of manifested, and with the team and all of the dysfunction and dissension. But Mike McDaniels, the press conferences have been so weird with him. I don't know what is going on. It seems like there's a bigger issue behind the scenes.
I have a theory, at least a little bit with there, is like his press conference has always been weird and rambling.
Don't they seem
and now people
weirder?
they do seem weirder. Something seems up between him and Tua. I don't think that's reading into it too much.
Okay, yeah. And they are clearly this poor start. Nothing is getting better. I felt like Tua calling out his teammates was a cry for help. But I don't know what they do at this point. It felt like Tyreek Hill was not that upset about not being able to play, like on a team that is now
That's brutal.
1-6. So, and you have Darren Waller who's hurt. It's a mess, and I don't know how they fix it, but there should be. I don't want to call for someone's job, but there needs to be some type of changes here.
Ian Rappaport said, no changes are expected. He was talking about this week with Mike McDaniel. And yeah, they'll make that change at some point. So why wait? But it's not going to solve anything.
No.
Right. Like, I do hate it for Dolphins fans, and there's so many. It's a great fan base down there. They have maybe the biggest international, and when I say that, I really mean London. Like, they might be the most popular team in London. Maybe the Patriots got there because they won so much over the years, but there's so many Dolphins fans over there. I did the game over there in London with Simon Clancy, who's a big fan, and our friend Henry Hodgson and everything. And the vibe I get is the most dangerous for any organization, that it's teetering from disappointment and anger to
Apathy.
apathy,
Apathy is the
ambivalence,
worst.
ambivalence, and acceptance of like, yeah, that's
This
what
is
we
it.
are. We're the worst.
It's depression.
And that's a good point. And that means you're going to start seeing empty seats there. It's tough. Here's one of the craziest Mike McDaniel quotes from this week.
Oh God, this is gonna be
There's a
good.
question about the games. I can't believe actually more wasn't made of this one in particular. He said, I don't have an opinion on the two teams in the game because we didn't participate in the game, in my opinion.
Oh my God.
And then he went on to say, typically, like it's never a clean soundbite with him. It goes on. He sort of rambled, and he said, well, he did think their want to was there, but their desire to execute the actual assignment / game plan was not. I mean, if that you're talking about a cry for help.
Oh,
He just
wow.
he said, hello, Stephen Ross, my boss. Yeah, my players are trying, but they're actually not trying to do what we're saying. That's as a coaching staff.
Correct.
That's crazy talk.
Between that and what Woody Johnson said, the AFC East has two teams that have serious problems here that need to like make changes and figure it out.
Everyone loves to point that out about the Patriots dynasty, just how bad that division was throughout. And the Bills have been beating up on some pretty weak opponents for the last 4 or 5 years. Now the Patriots are in the mix, but man, yeah, it is rough there in the AFCs. All right,
Miami.
let's wrap up.
Or Miami.
All right, should I go Colts, your team?
Let's do it.
Or should I go Falcons? I
Well,
feel like we only have room for one.
okay.
All right, Falcons quickly.
Okay.
I'm not going to do them. They're just confused. Like they're the most confusing team. Like they are the picture of what the NFL is right now, which is like, what even are you? You're always in primetime. Your defense is great. What? Like
You have a pass rush? I'm so confused.
But you have like Bijan Robinson playing great and Drake London playing great and Michael Penix. Like I have a lot of hope for, and yet the offense is confusing. It's not great. Like win loss. Like they're just confusing. Let's talk Colts, because the fact that you didn't bring them up to me was disappointing. I would describe their vibe as exultant.
Ooh, jubilant.
Incredibly confident. This has been your team forever.
I know.
And you
I wanted
didn't
to give it a
stand
break.
by
I
them
wanted to
this
give it a
year.
break. Didn't want people to be like, oh my God, she's talking about the Colts again. Like, no, I don't want to jinx them either, because it seems like every time I get behind this team, they don't take that next step. Now they are. Now I just want to sit back and watch. I don't have to be part of it, even though in my heart of hearts, I am. It feels like my adopted AFC team. But Daniel Jones is playing so well. You have Jonathan Taylor doing his thing again. I can't believe that they are 6-1. And we talked about this yesterday on the Rich Eisen show, that Daniel Jones, I just am not sure that he has gotten the Giants stink off of him yet, even though he's playing at the level he is. And he's protecting the football. He's making good decisions. This offense is running so well. The offense is running how they've always wanted this offense to run. And he still, I don't think, gets that love at all.
No, because people think they haven't really watched him. Even that Chargers game, which was for the number 1 seed in the AFC, was at 4:05, like Eastern, buried behind the actual national games that week. It is a good case study in market size.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the coach, Shane Steichen, not being particularly media friendly. Like, if Sean McVay had a team that was as historically good as this Colts team in Los Angeles, or God forbid, like a New York team was this good on offense with like, a Parcells type, a media friendly type running the show, it's all we'd ever hear about. They'd be the number 1 story, because that they are playing, and I said exultant, not really in terms of their press conferences, although those have been great too, but just the way that they're playing football. They're like playing football with joy, with no fear.
They're like a quiet machine, though, in terms of the media. So they're just lurking, and everybody sees the standings, and everyone sees
He's
the
always been kind of a
results.
crank. I kind of think he pushes the media away consistently. Not in a like this. That's who he is. Like, so that might be a little part of it. So
What
he doesn't have those, like, maybe he doesn't have the insiders in his pocket. You know what I mean? Like different coaches have, they're like, oh, can I put Tom Pelissero here? And maybe I'll put Ian Rapport in my back pocket. And we got Deanna Rossini over here. And it's like, they're all buddies. And I don't get that sense from Steichen. He doesn't give you anything.
What if Shane Steichen had the personality of Rex Ryan?
Right.
Like that
Exactly.
would be a supernova.
Right. You know who's been showing, though, a little bit more personality? I loved this post-game interview on the field, Daniel Jones and Evan Washburn from CBS.
Not that you care, but those of us on the outside, I think, are a little surprised at just how well this team is playing to start the season. What do we need to know about this group that maybe we didn't know going into the year?
I mean, I don't know. Sounds like y'all didn't know much, but we're just going to keep going, keep working, and we have a lot of confidence. I think we got a lot of good players, guys who work hard and do the right things.
I love this version of Daniel Jones.
It's disarming, and he had such a big smile there, and I saw it in this interview he did with the Mannings, too. Was it for the Manning cast? I can't remember, but he had this huge smile, and I was thinking, like, you know what? I don't think I've ever seen Daniel Jones
He looks
smile.
different. He looks physically different because he's happy.
He's got the weight of New York off his shoulder. Just a couple little examples, and then we'll wrap up the seg. Talk a little TNF. There was a play last week, and it just felt like a miracle anytime the Colts would even be in a difficult down and distance situation in that game. It was one of the best offensive performances of the year, maybe the best against the Chargers. And they were in a 3rd and 17. You're like, all right, maybe finally the Chargers, get off the field. And then they run this beautiful route where Alec Pierce goes to the inside. Daniel Jones is protected well, and he just lets it go like a total bomb on 3rd and 17, hits it down the field. There was another throw that he didn't hit in the second half. I think it was on a 2nd down too, where he threw the ball. Daniel Jones, you don't think of him, 63 air yards.
Oh my God.
He threw it from the 25 down to inside the other 20, and it was well covered. He put that thing what would have been on the hands. Man, I forget who the receiver was on the play. Might have been Pittman there. And it was broken up because he really wasn't open. It was double team, but it was exactly where it needed to be, on a time. Just a total I'm so confident right now. They are great running the ball at the end of games. This has happened the last 2 weeks. You know that situation where it's the other team knows you're going to run.
Yep.
You just need one more first down to finish. So they just put 8 in the box and they just get it anyways. They're better running the ball when the other team knows they're going to run the ball than almost any team is in a normal situation.
Of Saquon last year.
Yes.
Everyone knew that Saquon was going to run, and he was still able to break free no matter what. Also, the throw to Michael Pittman in the first half, that touchdown. I mean, Daniel Jones is doing things that I didn't think I'd ever see Daniel Jones do.
You know what he is, which is a word that we should bring back. I think it's been unfairly maligned over the years. He's cocksure.
What is it?
Cocksure. That is just a word I feel like doesn't get thrown out as much anymore
I'm gonna need the spelling
bad
on that.
lingy. It's spelled exactly how you would think it would. But it just means extremely confident, and it's a real word.
It sounds like a town in England.
Exactly. It seems very British, and then it sounds phallic and unfortunate, and so then people don't really say it anymore. But if you read old a Jane Austen book, you'll see some cocksure.
I would like for the word bum to be brought back, calling people
you're a bum.
bums.
Oh, I think that's more.
I just my grandfather called everyone a bum, and I miss it. It's nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
and you're not calling.
It's not a personal attack.
Yeah, you're not calling unhoused or homeless people. You're saying it to
he's a bum. He gave up on the play.
Your friend or an athlete or something like that. You're using it in that sort of way.
Yeah.
Bring bum back. There was this moment. This will wrap up vibes. Last week watching the Colts, they had a kick return right after a Chargers score actually made it a 1-score game. It was the only moment where there was a little bit of uncertainty, and they had a long kick return by Amir Abdullah, by the way, who's still in the NFL. And they showed this shot on CBS of all the offensive linemen getting ready to go on the field all together with Daniel Jones. and they were all so excited to like get back on the field, and it's so excited that the kick return was so good, and like one of them like shakes Daniel Jones. It was almost like, can you believe it? It got to the 30, and we get to play football again. They're just like so.
It was like an 81-yard return.
Yeah, but they were just so in it. I love it. Your team, the team of the year right now. I mean, they
The
absolutely are.
Colts.
Top power rankings. You know who's not the team of the year?
Who?
The Los Angeles Chargers. You know who else isn't? The Minnesota Vikings. The vibes here aren't great, even though the Chargers are 4-3. You know, they're 1-3 in their last 4 games. Their defensive numbers over that stretch are among the worst in the NFL. The Vikings, kind of the other way around. The defense has been good, but not great. I think they've been part of the problem. But man, their fans are just furious at the entire Carson Wentz experience. Both of these teams and their fans are angry for different reasons. I think the Chargers are, for whatever reason, their fan base, and I listen to this great podcast, Guilty as Charged, like they expect this more because it's the Chargers. The Vikings had a lot of optimism this year, like new franchise quarterback. They thought they were really going to build and be a fun team this year, and so they're angrier. The Chargers are favored by 3 points in this game. Give me your favorite talking point going into it.
Well, I'm kind of upset that my favorite talking point is not going to be a talking point because we don't get the J.J. McCarthy, Jim Harbaugh reunion here. That would have been really nice.
They can say hi, but Carson Wentz was announced as the starter on Tuesday, and it's going to be another week with Max Brosmer as the backup. They're saying J.J. McCarthy is getting close. If the game was Sunday even, he would have a chance. It just feels like they feel like the time is right for him to start in week 9, that they're trying to get him ready.
Who do they have week 9?
They have the Lions, which is a very difficult game. But I think it's more mentally, physically, he's coming off that injury that they think that's the right time for him. So it will be Carson Wentz for another week.
Okay, so Carson Wentz, who had a very inconsistent game against the Eagles. First half was awful. Then he got a little bit better in the second half. But I think for the Chargers, I look at this team that started so hot right out the gate. They beat the Chiefs. They go 3 straight against division rivals. And then the wheels sort of fall off. And with the historic comeback from the Broncos this past week, now the Broncos are at the top of the division. And that momentum, I know Claybon doesn't believe in it, but I feel like everyone else sort of does.
He's in everyone's head because anytime
he really lives
happens,
in there.
Like,
he lives there now.
It's good. It's a good place to be.
But I totally believe in it. You know, I will frequently ask athletes about it too. I'm like, do you believe in momentum? And yeah, they all do. But I think the pressure is just mounting now on the Chargers to bounce back and to get back on track. And I'm not sure with the offensive line issues that they've had and those injuries, and you have obviously Rashawn Slater out for the season. Joe Alt, like, what is his status for this game?
He might play.
Okay.
He might play. This might be the return.
That would be great.
That would be absolutely massive.
I think that could swing things a bit.
I know. I was a little surprised they're favored. I think you hit on like the biggest matchup right there is that the pass rush of Minnesota, which last week your Eagles handled them.
Jalen Hurts was perfect against the blitz.
And when they were in situations where they just let their guys pass rush, whether it was Van Ginkel or Jonathan Grenard, Dallas Turner, your guys reminded everyone why you got a future Hall of Famer at right tackle and you got an all-pro at left tackle, and they stonewalled them. I don't think they had, forget a pressure. I don't know if they had any wins. And now they get to play one of the worst offensive lines in the league. But if Alt is back, and we'll see about Trey Pipkins, it's crazy to me the Chargers are hoping Trey Pipkins gets back. But they were down to their 5th, their 6th tackle at one point last week. And the problem is the interior line of the line too. There was a play last week in that Colts game where, they get Nyheim Hines in motion behind the play. He's kind of like a returner running back type. But it was clearly like a gadgety design play of we need to create some offense. They got exactly the matchup they wanted, one-on-one in man coverage of him sprinting with a head start against a defensive lineman, Samson Ebukam, on the other team. That's a touchdown, on a wheel route. and Herbert is looking there at first, and before he can even really look there, immediate win by DeForest Buckner and the Colts, and is just in his face, and he's running for his life. And that, to me, has been the Chargers offense. The best plays they have is just Justin Herbert doing stuff. Because, like, they can't really run a normal offense right now. That's not great. I actually think Herbert's been playing great. His MVP level that people were like, oh, he's been the MVP through 3 weeks. Like, I think he is still playing at that level, but it is rough in front of him.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if he had a competent offensive line, then he would be in that conversation. He would be maybe leading it. Who knows? Also, Khalil Mack going up against the Vikings offensive line. That's another one to just watch now that he returned to the game last week.
He's back. They traded for Odafe Owe. You know, they got Tuli Pelotu, but the struggles, I think, come from a couple guys that we've been giving a lot of credit for on the show. Deion Henley, who we thought was kind of a breakout player, started the season well. They just seem a little lost in coverage. Both him, Derwin James, like the middle of that defense.
Yeah.
Teams are taking advantage of their aggressiveness. They're very aggressive. And so this is a game where KOC is looking at it and it's like, man, I can scheme up some open receivers. And we know he can. He did it against the Eagles. Can Carson Wentz deliver? Can KOC figure out the right balance? Because here's a stat for you. Last week in the red zone, the Vikings called 15 passes and 6 runs.
What?
15 Carson Wentz passes.
No.
And so many of those were like inside the 5 too. You were watching that game. Like,
oh my God. I mean,
it's like they're counting on, like, you can't count on Carson Wentz that much. It's too much.
I loved it when I was watching it. Like, yes, more Carson Wentz passes. Let's go. I've seen this before, and I hated it before, but I love it now.
Really big game, I think, for both of these teams in this season. Just feels like a stop the bleeding type of game for either to either stay over 500 if you're the Chargers, to stay, same thing with the Vikings. They could fall under and be last place in that division.
And the Vikings, by the way, the window opened on Aaron Jones, so he could potentially play.
It sounds like you're right to point that out. Good job by you.
Hey, thank you.
I think he is going to play in this game based on how Kevin O'Connell talked about it, that like he wouldn't need much ramp up time. So it'll be fun. Thursday night, we'll be watching, and we'll also be saying goodbye on the show. But before we do, we just got some like fun little news that's like, hey, why not throw this in?
Okay.
Russell Wilson on Twitter on Tuesday responded to a comment that Sean Payton had made at the podium. I believe it was on Monday. And this was Sean Payton's comment for context. They found a little spark with that quarterback. I was talking to John Mara, the owner of the Giants, not too long ago, and I said, we were hoping that change happened long after our game. Russell Wilson, understandably, I think, taking it as a shot, considering their history together, said, classless but not surprised. Didn't realize you're still bounty hunting 15 plus years later through the media. Sunglass emoji, crying, laughing emoji, let's ride. Diagonal, laughing, crying emoji.
I would have liked no emojis and no hashtag, and then I would have been like, oh, are we getting like a little actual window into Russell Wilson? Like, is he starting to take the guard down a little bit?
Ooh, I like that.
He's showing like now he's been through so much adversity that he's like, screw it. But then the emojis, he tempered it still. He tried to soften it with the laughing.
I think you're showing your elder millennial, bona fides are like, I'm with you. I agree. Whenever someone does that, when you're saying something real and then they add it, it just undercuts it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, why don't you just stand on it?
Stand by that.
Right. But I think it's just more comfortable. I think it might be a generational thing. Although he is part of your generation, our generation.
We are in the same generation.
You and Russ. I'm more of like cusp Gen X.
You're on the cusp.
I'm like significantly older than you, Colleen. That's just a fact.
I don't really.
Closer to death.
I knew it would come up at some point during the show.
That's like our thing.
Well, we all are, Greg, from at least when we started this show today.
I love that from Russ, by the way, because game recognizes game. One of my favorite quotes ever that I literally think about multiple times a week. It's from a novel by Rachel Cusk. And the character says, like, how she thought how often people betray themselves by what they notice in others. And I think that is so true.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson knows how to play that media game. Russell Wilson in some ways is the player version of media manipulation that Sean
Yes.
Payton has been through the years. So he sees it.
Wow. This is next level. The things that you dislike about yourself, like you see in others and attack it.
Exactly, because you know it.
Yeah.
Like when it's close to the,
This is the sports
every
psychology podcast. Welcome.
It's close to the idea that every accusation is an admission a little
Yes.
bit, because it's something you're expert in. You understand that, so you really can recognize those qualities in others, even if it's the worst sometimes quality in yourself. Those are the ones you know the best.
Take that as a lesson, everyone.
We did it. So great to have Colleen back.
Great to be here.
On See You Next Tuesday. We will see you on Wednesday. Steve Weish in the house.
Woo!
Patrick Claybon in the house. Light week. Only, 12 games? Because there's 6 byes this week.
That's terrible for fantasy.
Very excited for the week 8 preview. We're in week 8.
8.
We'll see you then.
We're all dying.